Now, I'm shocked to hear from Mr. Diwan that when he asked for the bill wasn't given. So was it something which was locked up in a Swiss bank? The bill was a secret document of that nature? But here what I'm trying to say is, please, after this tea and coffee and the valedictorians, go home and don't forget about it. Make this your daily routine. It is as important as arguing Order 21, Rule 90, or 226 and 227. Because on this depends the foundation of our rule of law, the very structure of the rule of law, an independent bar and an independent judiciary. Well, I've said enough, and thank you very much. I hope I generated some thoughts, and thank you.
Thank you. And now I request to Priya Hingorani, our treasurer, to express his view.
Mr. Jethmalani, Mr. Soli Sorabji, Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, Mr. Jain. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Diwan and Prashant for giving me this opportunity to be at the same dais as our stalwarts here. And it has been a very educative session, an educative start, hearing Mr. Jethmalani, who I have known since my childhood, the lovely dinners that we've had at his house and the education that we've had at their house when my parents and his family.
And we have a lovely dinner today also.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to that. And we've grown up seeing Mr. Soli Sorabji in court. And of course, in the recent years, having heard the wonderful arguments and of course the outstanding work that Mr. Gopal Subramaniam has done is the J.S. Verma Commission. We are really indebted to him and of course the Justice Verma Commission for the kind of law that they have, the amendments that they have suggested and which have come about, some of them which have come about. Thank you, Mr. Gopal Subramaniam. This is my personal thanks to you. Well, you've all heard what our senior members have had to say. I'd just like to share some of my thoughts as a young or a practicing lawyer in Delhi, in India, who has certain apprehensions and who certain aspirations and certain responsibilities. And I feel that the youngsters who are sitting in this audience today, who are the future of our legal profession, and the kind of guidance that they need from our seniors. As you all know, in India, historically, the lawyers have played a very important role in building the nation, in building up the constitution. We've had such strong lawyers who have participated in the freedom movement. Also, as you've heard about the emergency days and how the lawyers stood up. And I think that was the first time in Supreme Court that there was a strike when the super session took place. It had never happened before, but there was a strike called by the lawyers in the Supreme Court against the super session, and how they stood for the judges and stood, and the bar was an independent bar, and the bar took up the causes of the honorable judges as well as of the independence of the judiciary and of the rule of law. Then we've had various things, various landmark judgments which came across, which you've heard by the seniors have mentioned all that. Then I would like to mention, which I think I'm the proud daughter of parents of Kapila Hingorani and Mr. Hingorani, who brought about public interest litigation in this country in '79, when the first case of the under trial prisoners, and then later on the case of Bhagalpur blinding, which came out, which brought a new jurisdiction on public interest law, on the right to life and liberty. Hussain Ara Khatun, yes, sir, we are absolutely right. And I think, and I must say that when my mother came to Supreme Court in 1961, she was one of the fourth woman lawyer who had joined the bar. And the kind of response, the kind of teamwork, the kind of acceptance at that time amongst the judiciary and amongst the lawyers for women to enter this profession, this hard profession, was difficult but yet welcoming. And that's how I have grown up hearing how women lawyers, though today we are many in number, but still a lot needs to be done, and still they have to be given their rightful place. Women lawyers in their own right participated in the women's movement in India, and they made a mark. We had so many women lawyers in different parts, starting from Bombay, when the first woman lawyer was enrolled she came as a solicitor, Cornelia, and then with great difficulty she was allowed to practice. She started from Bombay, and then we had a lot of women lawyers in India, in Delhi, who took up the women's movement and brought about important cases before the court, brought about the amendments to the women's rights, fought for the women's rights, and made their mark for themselves. And also, we had very great landmark judgments from the Supreme Court of India on those issues. The concern now, as I find, as what Mr. Jethmalani said, that the young lawyers need to lead, need to come out and lead. But sir, with great sense of disappointment, I say that today in the bar, we don't have strong leaders who are willing to guide, who are willing to give time, who are willing to take and give direction to the young juniors in the bar. We have this problem. We have a handful of seniors who are present here today, who are there in the courts, who are willing to give their time, some part of their time, but by and large, they have no sense of direction. There are lots and lots of young lawyers, who want to give some contribution, who want to do a lot of work for the nation, for the legal profession, but there is no clear direction for them. And I think that's where something which we are lacking, and that's where we need to introspect. And we really need to have a discussion. There is a lot of disconnect between the seniors and the juniors. There's a lot of disconnect. And we find that, whether it is for them in the profession, how they should do. We don't have any continuing legal education programs, despite whatever tall claims the bar councils have, or the bar associations have. We don't have anything to guide the youngsters as to how they should perform in courts, what are their limits, what are their good aspects which they should concentrate on. We don't have any welfare schemes for the young lawyers, which is the need of the hour, because young lawyers, when they come into the profession, very few of lawyers are fortunate to have family backgrounds or who join law firms and come as lawyers who were with substantive means. But by and large, the lawyers in our country, the young lawyers, need the holding of their hand for the first 5 years, which is not there. And I think that's something we must all introspect on. The other thing for the young lawyers, which I would like to say, is that you have, or somewhere we all have forgotten, that this is a noble profession, and it will continue to be a noble profession. Don't treat it as a business or a commercial venture, because our role, our ethical standards, our duties towards the court and the client is paramount to us making money. I think that is something which we have, the coming of law schools, beginning of law, the 5-year law schools has somehow taken away the nobility from the profession in the minds of the young lawyers. The other aspect which I feel, when we talk today of the role of the legal profession, yes, of course, a lot has been said as to the accountability, the transparency, the integrity of the bench, of the judiciary. But I think we should also introspect and look at where we stand today. Why is it that our integrity and our ethical standards are being questioned? There should be no reason. We should be absolutely ethical and accountable to our clients and to the judiciary. Despite the fact that when you talk about ethics of the bar, the ethics of the judiciary is being talked of, which is very, very sad day when we have to think and talk about the ethical standards of the judiciary. But I think let us first, from within, from our own house, set up the best standards amongst ourselves to help in the administration of justice, and then see what we can do for the rest of the judicial system. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Now I request to Sri Surendraji Desai, please. Prashantji.
As we have run out of time, our co-chair of the session had a flight to catch, so he had to leave, Mr. Surinder Desai. So we were supposed to have an open session after this, but this session has been an open heart session. People have spoken with passion, with heart, and with a missionary zeal for the bar, for the legal profession, for the independence of judiciary. I want to give it a unique ending. I'll request all of you, though one day belatedly, to sing Happy Birthday to Ram. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ram. Good health, long life.
And
now
lots
you
of
are
happiness.
not in the departure lounge of the airport. You are here with us, and we won't allow you to proceed there. Our love and affection holds you back right here in the midst of us. Flight is cancelled. Friends, our valedictory session in which Lordship GS Singhvi will be there has to commence dot on time. That is at 4. So I will request you to have tea and coffee and return to the hall on time to receive our honored dignitary.